Hello viewers, I'm Nepkal and this is a tutorial on how to solo Black Temple as a Retribution Paladin. The Paladin that I'm going to be playing today as, Svyatoi on Ravenholdt, is in full Dreadful Gladiators. Well, I have the Malevolent Boots, and I am reforged for Haste and Mastery, as is par for the course. And the talents I took are Speed of Light, just for the sake of getting through the instance faster. Eternal Flame for most of the encounters, but I switched to Selfless Healer for a couple of them. Hand of Purity, Divine Purpose, which really helps to clear any trash that you run into, and Holy Prism. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, here's the first encounter, High Warlord Naj'entus. This is more or less just tank and spank as a solo. One of his mechanics are more or less mitigated by being by yourself. The only thing that he does is he puts up a tidal shield if you don't kill him fast enough, which I didn't in this case. I did the first time I went through this, I don't know what the difference was, but he puts it up for 30 seconds. He's immune to damaging effects and attacks, so if you don't take him down in time, then you just gotta wait. He heals himself a little bit, but it has a 1-minute cooldown, so as soon as it comes down, you gotta be able to burst him down without any trouble. So it's easy first encounter, and let's move on to the next one. Okay, here's the next encounter, Supremus. He has 3 abilities that you should watch out for. He's not all that dangerous, but he has a Molten Flame where he sends out blue fire that'll chase you and just make sure not to stand on it. He has a Molten Punch, which knocks you back a considerable distance. So you're either going to want to clear the trash, or just kind of have your back to a wall. That way you're not knocked all the way through the courtyard and pull the whole place. And if he lives long enough, he also puts down volcanic geysers, which you just want to stay out of. But Supremus, a real easy fight. Not tricky at all, so it'll be an easy fight. The next fight is the Shade of Akama. You just talk to Akama in order to activate the event. Just go up to this little altar and you destroy these seers that are channeling this beam. Some ads spawn, but they don't cause any problems. They automatically aggro to you. So you just take out these seers, and then the Shade of Akama will begin moving forward. And once he gets to Akama, then you'll be able to engage him. He doesn't have very much health at all compared to other bosses in this instance, and he doesn't do anything special either. So once you get through the preliminary stage, just tank and spank, real easy. This next fight is with Teron Gorfiend. He's not real tough. He just summons these clouds, which shoot shadow bolts at you, more or less. They just deal magic damage. And he summons them every, I don't know, 15 seconds or something. So if you don't kill him fast enough, you can be overwhelmed. But it would take a considerable amount to be able to damage you enough that your Eternal Flame didn't take care of it. But he has a decent amount of health, so it takes a little while. At least does for me. Anyone in PvE gear or raid gear would probably fare better than I did, since I'm PvP gear, not hit capped. But all in all, a real easy fight. Just a lot of health, and just gotta sit there and make sure you keep your Eternal Flame up. He drops a really nice looking 2-handed axe, the Soul Cleaver, so I think, for the sake of having it for transmogrification, I think this is a good boss just to get in every week until you get it. Okay, this next fight is with Gurtogg Bloodboil, and he will be the first difficult boss. I died a few times trying to beat him, but then I finally figured it out. You're going to want to take Selfless Healer for this fight, because Eternal Flame just won't have the bursts that you need. And Hand of Purity, because he stacks a bleed, which just does an immense amount of damage when it gets high enough. Around 50 stacks, it just is unbearable. So you're going to use Hand of Purity once the bleeds start getting high enough. And he stuns you every now and then too, which you can't trinket out of, which drove me crazy. But you're just going to want to make sure Judgment and keep your health up, because that bleed can really take it down. And when he's at about half health or the bleed gets to above 50, you're going to want a Divine Shield because it clears the bleed. So you more or less get a fresh start. So just make sure to Hand of Purity every chance you get, and to Divine Shield is when at the opportune moment. That way your forbearance goes down and you can lay on hands if you need to, which I do. So all in all, he's a pretty difficult fight, but once you get the mechanics down, then it can be achieved. I did it with relatively low difficulty, so good luck. Okay, this next fight is the Reliquary of Souls. Pretty easy fight, considering the last one that we had to do. It has 3 phases. The first one is really easy. Just more or less tank and spank. And then, between each phase, it summons these shades, which don't give you any trouble. If you want to put in the extra effort, you can make it so that you have 5 stacks of Holy Power. You can start out with an Inquisition and an Eternal Flame. The second phase, which is the Essence of Desire, is probably the trickiest one. She does shadow damage over time, and she stuns you with that damn whatever it's called. But you can interrupt it, so I do a terrible job of it at the beginning. But if you just Hand of Purity and keep your Eternal Flame up, then you should be alright. Especially if you're in PvE gear, because my DPS isn't all that great. But just want to make sure to keep your heals up and pop your cooldowns on this one. And make sure to interrupt her. You can either interrupt Deaden or the Stun, I guess, depending on which one you prefer. The Deaden increases the damage you take by 100%. But I much prefer to interrupt the Spirit Shock. So, still a pretty easy fight. You can get surprised out of nowhere and get dropped really low, but I didn't really have all that much trouble. And then, after you defeat the Essence of Desire, the last one's the Essence of Anger, which does... It does a dot over time that increases as time goes by, so it was more or less a DPS race at level 70, and it might have been a challenge then, I'm not sure. But he also increases the damage that you do with his Aura of Anger, so you should be able to burst him down really quick. So, Reliquary of Souls, all in all, a pretty easy fight. Second phase is the one you gotta be careful on, and you should probably cool down, so... Okay, the next fight is Mother Shaharaz. She's not real tricky. She silences you, which isn't really a big deal as a Ret Paladin. You're just gonna want to make sure you use your Eternal Flame between the silences, because she does hit. She hits pretty hard, but she doesn't have any special attacks or anything like that you have to work around. So it's pretty much just tank and spank, and just use your Inquisition and your Eternal Flame when you can. So, not a complicated fight, real easy, shouldn't give you any trouble. Okay, the penultimate fight, the last fight before you get to Illidan himself, is the Illidari Council. And without a doubt, in my opinion at least, this is the most difficult fight in the entire instance. There are 4 of these Blood Elves that you fight. One's a Mage, one's a Priest, one's a Paladin, and one's a Rogue. And I've heard some people say that you should just focus on the Paladin the whole time until you kill him. But what I like to do is I like to focus the Rogue when he's out, and after you damage him a little bit, he runs back into the shadows. so that helps get some damage off of you. When the rogue pops out, you're going to want to use your Hand of Purity because he puts on a bleed and a poison on you. So whenever the rogue comes back, make sure to pop Hand of Purity and just get him out of the fight as fast as you can. The Paladin puts Divine Protection on some of them, so if he Divine Protects the rogue, then obviously don't bother attacking it during the duration of it. You're going to want to take Selfless Healer for this, because they just deal an incredible amount of damage. I didn't in this case, and you can see I'm nearly dead the entire fight. But you're just going to want to more or less just kill the rogue, attack the rogue when he's out, and then focus on the Paladin for the duration of it. It's going to be a really close call the entire time, so good luck. I haven't died against him yet. First time I fought him, I had like 50 health and they all fell over dead, and I screamed out to the heavens. But in the second time, I did it a little easier, even though it looks like I'm having a lot of trouble. But it helps if you take Glyph of Divine Storm, which will heal you for 5% of your maximum health every time you Divine Storm. And then just use Divine Storm when you have all of them around you to increase your DPS and hopefully help you take them down. But all in all, this is a really difficult fight. If you don't, you're gonna want to make sure you're at least as geared as I am in full Dreadfuls. It's probably easier in raid gear, so no shame in phoning a friend and asking them to come help you with this one. I nearly did. But it's achievable. Don't be too deterred. It might take a few tries perfecting it, but you know, soloing Black Temple, I guess it shouldn't be an easy cakewalk. So good luck. Maybe get some of your friends to give you some buffs before you go in the instance. It might help you a little bit. So just getting through this fight, it's difficult. I don't know what to say. I don't know how many others have tried this and had an easy time. If you did, well, good on you, I guess. But it gave me hell. So just make sure you're healing yourself. You're going to be on the cusp of death the whole time, and I can't say enough. Good luck. Okay, here we are. The last fight in Black Temple, the main man himself, Illidan Stormrage. After you defeat the council, Akama's going to walk in the room, and you just talk to him, and he opens the door for you. And then you come up here, and this nice little scripted event happens, and you get to hear some nice voice acting, and then you throw down. First phase, he just attacks you, and I like to pop my cooldowns. Well, I don't like to pop a Guardian of Ancient Kings, but I like to pop the other ones during this part, just for the sake of expedience and just getting it over with. He's going to slam, put fire down on the ground, no big deal, just avoid it. And then this next part, if you're not paying attention or don't know what to do, you will die. They will murder you. The further away from the Glaives of Azzinoth these elementals are, the more damage that they do. And I didn't know that first time and got destroyed. But just stand in the middle of them. It shouldn't be too much damage for you not to be able to handle. I like to take Eternal Flame on this just to help buffer out some of it, because it's not too much burst. You can use your Magic Protection Shield, whatever it's called, to help you get through it. I do. Hand of Purity. And then after you destroy those two, Illidan flies back down. It's just another DPS, just tank and spank. He puts down this thing that deals, I don't know, a decent amount of, it's a decent dot. So you can use Hand of Purity or your Magic Shield if he's giving you too much trouble, but he shouldn't. And then once you get him down to a certain amount, you're unable to act, but his dot doesn't damage you. You're invulnerable. But you do take healing, so it's a good thing to put up Eternal Flame. Then my Ev pops out. wanting to steal your thunder and kill them. And that's it, more or less. Just pop your cooldowns, take them out. Just watch out for the elemental phase, that's the only real threat. And you're good to go. You just solo Black Temple. And good job. Some really good items drop out of here, so for transmog, it's a really good idea just to run this every now and then, get the Bulwark, Warglaves of Azzinoth on your ults. And I don't know, it's a lot of fun, decent time, so I hope this was helpful, and good luck in Black Temple.